How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Carnivore Hunter. My name is Wes, and I'm like 40 some days into the carnivore diet, but I just recently cheated on my diet. Let's talk about it. So, like I said, I'm basically 40 days into the carnivore diet, and up through now, I've done honestly pretty well at staying clean, not cheating. Granted, like myself, I've done seasonings and a few different sauces and condiments and stuff that, we're still like ultra low carb, but not technically carnivore. Throughout the first 30 days, I think I'd mentioned that I really only cheated like twice, and that was like with some chocolate. I really, really like chocolate. This past week, we did go on a vacation to Florida. Some people were asking where we went. We went to Clearwater, Florida. And before I went on that vacation, I filmed a short, reel type video just asking for maybe some tips as far as eating on a vacation and staying carnivore. You really didn't have enough information from me to give great advice. The advice you gave was fine for most people, but so one thing that really makes it a little bit tough for us on this type of vacation is we go there with the intention of not driving anywhere. We don't rent a car. We Uber to the hotel. The hotel is on the beach, and the idea is that we go there and our only cost is food. We don't Uber anywhere. We walk everywhere, no rental cars. So we're limited on the restaurants that we can choose from based on proximity. And so a lot of people were like, just go to, a fast food restaurant and order a burger patty. And while that's, fine advice for a lot of people, not really, doesn't really work for that type of vacation that we were after. The other thing that kind of plays into this is the weather in Florida this past week was not great. We didn't see 70 degrees one time. I think one day with the wind chill, it was in the upper 30s. So, it's still better than what it is now in Fargo, North Dakota. I think we're in the negatives and it's super windy, but so it's still better than that, but not your typical beach vacation. And so where you would normally just spend your time literally laying on the beach and enjoying the sunshine, you didn't have that option now. So like we were on the beach with hoodies and stuff, which, it sucked at first. We ended up making the most of it. We all still had a good time, but it's weird to go on vacation now because like for me, like going to like Clearwater or anywhere for that matter, a big part of my vacations was always the food. I love food. I love to eat. Clearwater is one of those places where I can actually get seafood that I like. The problem with that is historically the seafood that I like is deep fried because, everything tastes better deep fried, right? So it actually was pretty darn hard to find seafood that wasn't deep fried. All these places down there are like known for their grouper sandwiches and stuff, and it's all fried fish. And it obviously works for them, but like for me, it made it super tough. And the other thing that made it tough is the prices for buying non-fried fish. So just a blackened grouper or blackened mahi, something like that. You're paying for the fish plus a couple of sides or whatever it may be. And so you might be $20 to $30 for like 6 ounces of meat. Obviously, if you take the money aspect out of it, yes, you can be carnivore, no problem. Order 3 steak meals, 3 fish meals, get 2 burgers. But really, really hard for me, especially like the burgers, right? Like you're buying a burger, it's you're taking away the buns, the sides, all the things that make it a filling meal, and you're still being charged $20 some. And so for me, I'm not going to pay $40 for 2 just burger patties, and I'm certainly not going to pay $50 to $60 for 2 pieces of blackened fish that I'm not even that crazy about. I really only liked fish deep fried. So what became tough was just finding options because we are in a seafood centered place, right? Being on the Gulf of America, we were, there's a lot of seafood there. But what I did, the way that I combated most of that was with chicken wings. A quick pointer for you. If you are conscious about the price that you're spending and you're at sit-down restaurants, if you can find something that's carnivore on the appetizers, you're getting all your money is going towards that one thing. You're not overspending on sides that you're just going to tell them to leave off, or, like sandwiches that you're going to say leave the bun. So with chicken wings, 10 wings at whatever, 15, 16 bucks, that's not so bad. I can certainly get full off of 10 wings. Buffalo sauce really isn't any carbs hardly at all. Carnivore enough for me. And I think I ate maybe 4 or 5 different meals, that were essentially bone-in wings. So those actually saved me. But I did mention at the beginning of the video that I did cheat a little bit on this vacation. And I do want to talk about that because I don't want to say scared to death, but I was worried because, you put in this work and this effort, and you see all these people say, like, this diet is not one that you can cheat on. And I do fully agree with that, as far as, like, I've seen people say, well, Friday's my cheat day. That's not going to work on the carnivore diet, because half your week is going to be focused on getting back into keto. So if you're the kind of person that wants a whole cheat day, or honestly even a cheat meal, probably not the diet for you. But what I did find was that I just opted to not order any of the junk. However, we took our kids to Ben and Jerry's. They love ice cream. I love ice cream. They order an ice cream, 1 scoop, which is more than enough for a kid, and I would just grab a spoonful of that. Eat 1 spoonful. It's like, oh, that's nice. But that was enough to kind of hold me over. A spoon of this and a spoon of that, like, you're not really adding that much carbs. Granted, it's not good for you, and I'm not saying you should do it. But I am saying that if you stay in keto, you're not completely screwing yourself. And I say this to basically just keep people motivated. You're probably going to slip up. You really are. That's the whole reason that I started this channel in the first place, was accountability and motivation, and y'all have been awesome about that. So, if you screw up, just be okay with it. Fix it. Get right back at it. You're going to be fine. The last thing that you want to do is, like, slip up and be like, oh, I'm just going to have these fries with my burger, and then get a cheesecake, and then get this, and then get that, and have a Pepsi with it. You know what I mean? Like, just because you screwed up a little bit doesn't mean you say, screw it, I'm going to just go all in since I've already messed up. That's the wrong mentality to have. For me, there was multiple days where I had either a bite of ice cream, or I eat like 1 fry, from my daughter's plate. This is actually interesting. So one day she got their funnel cake fries. So if you ever had a funnel cake, they're freaking awesome. A little bit messy, a little bit hard to eat. So they were making like fries, like literally fry shaped, but it was made out of funnel cake batter, deep fried, covered in powdered sugar. Amazing, right? And I had, I think, 3 of those, like just little funnel cake fries. And just to be honest with you, that night at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I got up and threw up. My stomach was screwed up. And that's the only thing, because I didn't really have, I had wings. I had a couple, like honestly, I don't think I had any bad things for me that particular day, with the exception of those funnel cake fries. Granted, it was just 3. I assume probably deep fried in seed oil that had been reused about 400 times. I know, shouldn't do it. I'm just telling you that I did, and it made me sick. So keep that in mind. If you're considering doing it, consider the consequences. Now, when it comes to alcohol, I did pretty well. So as you all know, I haven't drank since December 7th. So when I started this roughly 40 days ago, I was, dry as a bird all the way up until this vacation. And there was one night we did have a few drinks. I ended up going with like Michelob Ultras, which are like 2.6 carbs. And I don't know, I don't think that I would have knocked myself out of keto with the amount that I had, but it is what it is. It happened. I'm actually thankful, that I did, because it was nice to see that, oh, this isn't like a necessity, right? We had 3 out of 4 nights no alcohol, and everything was just as fun. It was honestly really good, and I'm glad, because like whenever you go on vacation and you can't eat all of the food that you normally would, it's not warm enough to be on the beach. I could see where people would be like, "Screw it, I'm going to have some drinks." It's just nice to know that that's not a necessity to have fun with your family on a vacation. So, what's the point of this video? The point is, people are going to screw up. They're going to make mistakes. It's what happens and what your mind goes to after you screw up. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to just throw in the towel and screw up even further? Or are you going to get right back after it and keep doing the thing that you know works? And for me, that's what I'm doing. You know, I had a couple of, you can't even call them cheat meals because it was like one bite, but indulged a couple of times, had one night with a few drinks. Ultimately, I came back and my weight was 1 pound heavier than when I left. And to be honest, I think that, you know, as of today, I'm back down even less than that. So I'm back down to normal. It was one little mild issue. And, you know, I learned some lessons through that, which I'm thankful for. And I'm glad I'm able to share that with you all. I appreciate the motivation and the kind words that you have given me, and the tips and the advice. It's really helpful. And for the people that are reading through the comment section, I really appreciate all of the nice, positive comments that are flowing through every single video. That's super awesome to me. Makes me happy to see. So I think that's everything I wanted to mention. Basically, if you're going to cheat on a diet, don't go all in. Get back on the horse. Stay motivated. Stay positive. Things happen. You know, do your best, and life is good. Also, if you've made it this far in the video, someone's going to mention again the alcohol on the shelf. Been there for 40 days, haven't touched it. It's just office decor at this point. I'll probably move it at some point, but it is what it is. It's there. I'm not drinking it. Sorry. A lot of people that's been watching these videos is not subscribed, so consider subscribing if you're on the carnivore journey, or thinking about starting it, or thinking about starting a diet and don't know what you want to do. I'm trying to post as many updates as I can, you know, in my busy life. It's not always easy to throw videos out. I'm trying to do that. I'm just kind of taking you along for the ride, and holding myself accountable at the same time. So again, y'all, appreciate you watching. Until next time, y'all have a good one.